Welcome to this very special edition of Burning Questions. Today we are celebrating International Women's Day with three incredible women in our sport, all who had very different foundations to where they got to where they are now. So firstly, I want to introduce Group 1 winning 21-year-old Ewa Justice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bronte. It sounds pretty funny when you say that.
I feel like what makes it more exciting is that the horse that you won the Group 1 on is 12 years old, so pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy, like, for the horse to do what he's done, and you know specifically how much I love him, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was so happy for you. I was actually working Trots Vision coverage, and I think I was talking about the race that was on at that point, and I was like, Eva's coming up the inside, and then changed the topic completely on Trots Vision. So our next guest is Rory Coverdale, and Rory Coverdale is a first-generation harness racing trainer and driver who has already won both training and driving. Welcome to the show, Rory.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here, and I'm sure we're about to hear about how you got to where you are now, but I know that your story is super inspiring. And our last guest is Sophie Jefferies, who started her career in New Zealand as a driver and has now made her way to Victoria and is making her name for herself here. Welcome to the show, Sophie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I feel like this is all of your three girls' first burning questions, so that's exciting. And Ewa is currently taking some horses to the races with her dad.
Yeah, I've only ever had to set it up for him. I've never actually done it myself, so this is the first time.
This is exciting to have. I feel like this is my first time hosting too, so this is a good one tonight. So first question is how you got into harness racing and how that led to where you are now. So I might start with you, Ewa.
Yeah, so I guess mine's pretty obvious. It was through my family, more specifically my dad and my nana, you know, being surrounded by it every day. But I probably never really, I was around it, but I never really got too invested in it until a few years ago. Something a lot of people might not know, one of my close friends, Stacey, she started coming out and doing fast work. And when she started driving my favourite horse, I thought, I think I want to do that too. And that's probably what got the ball rolling with the driving side of things.
And Stacey went to Tasmania with you on the weekend.
She came with me. She told me if I made the final, she'd come, but she didn't actually think. I don't even think she thought I was going to make the final. So she was last minute hopped on the plane with me, and we celebrated together, which was nice.
That would have been nice, especially the day after, to have each other. I'll go to you now, Sophie. How did you get into harness racing, and how did that lead to, I guess, ending up in Victoria and you could say co-training a horse called Back, who won impressively on the weekend?
He did very well. We were stoked with him. I actually didn't grow up in trots either or know anything about them. I started off, I worked at Brecon Farms, which is a breeding farm in New Zealand. So kind of got into the standard breeds that way, but still didn't know much about harness racing itself. And then after COVID, I got a job as a stable hand in a racing stable at Cambridge. It was actually for Kyle, who's now my partner. And then they threw me in the sulky one day, and I thought it was terrifying. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. And then I did it, and I fell in love with it. It was such a thrill. And from there on, I decided I wanted to give driving a go. So it took a while, but we got there in the end. And then, yeah, so that was probably 4 years ago. And then we decided to make the move to obviously move over here and give it a crack after I got my race license. So, yeah.
Yes, and was it one win that you had in New Zealand before you moved to Victoria?
So we'd actually already moved here, and I went home for a surprise 40th in the family. And my old boss, he didn't even tell me. He put me on one of his horses, which was You Little Beauty. And yeah, it was a horrible wet night, and we managed to get the win, which was pretty cool. Having my family there as well and being back home.
And you've had 5 winners in Australia since you moved here, or more than that?
5, yes. Hoping to get more, but 5 at the
moment. Well, I guess that leads to our next question, which is sponsored by Pride's Easy Feed. Pride's Easy Feed stand as a proud supporter of harness racing industry with their set recipes and quality ingredients to give their trainer confidence in what they're feeding. So make the switch to Pride's and start getting the result you have been chasing. So this question is, I think I could guess the answer for you guys, but what is your career highlight? And we'll start with Eva, who will need to pop off mute as well.
Hopefully you can hear me, but obviously my career highlight would probably be from the weekend winning the Tasmania Cup, because I mean I never would have dreamt that would happen so soon. But if a more sentimental career highlight would probably be my few I had on Nana's horse, High in the Sky. I think I won 3 races on her, and winning on her horse was a really, really proud moment too. So that's probably something more sentimental.
And did you say your Nan, is this the same Nan that paved the way for drivers in Tasmania?
Yeah, she was born in Tassie, and she would go out and wear a cap so no one could see that there was a female driving on the track, because she wasn't allowed being female. So yeah, that's her.
That's incredible to think that that's actually how it was at one point, to now there being complete inclusion within the sport. So we're also grateful people like your Nan that led the way, and I'm sure that she would have been so proud of your achievements looking down on you on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure when I crossed the line I had a lot of emotions, but she was one of the main people I was thinking about.
Of course. And what is your career highlight, Rory?
Probably winning my first training win. That was pretty amazing, especially in a horse that my grandparents and family members own. It was a pretty good feeling, and especially all the hard work that I'd put in to get my trainer's license and get him to win was pretty amazing.
Yes, and I just know how exciting and how much work you put into this horse. I mean, at 20 years of age, and you had no family in harness racing previously, and to learn the ropes of how to train a horse and take it to the races and to get to that point, it would have been inspiring, I guess, for so many other people watching, but also you must have felt to yourself like this is such an incredible achievement.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to feel like everyone else out there, I guess, but to show all my friends and family that I could do it, and everybody else who looks, goes to the races and thinks, oh, that'd be cool, maybe give it a go.
You are such a great ambassador to show that anyone can get involved in the sport. And the same goes for Sophie, who didn't grow up in a harness racing background. And Sophie, what has been your career highlight?
Definitely be my first driving win. I think what made it more special is, we'd moved obviously over here, but to get it back home and have my parents there, and do it for my old boss, who really taught me a lot in terms of driving and pushed me to really do it. I think that made it special, and a bit sentimental having mum and dad there who have started loving the sport since I kind of joined into it. Yeah.
Definitely, and it would be great if you could even somehow manage to get you little Beauty, the horse you're talking about, to Australia someday. Is she still racing? Or he?
Yeah, she is. She's a lovely horse. I would love for her to come over here. That would be amazing. I think she'd do very well too. So I've definitely been trying to convince, but we shall see. Fingers crossed.
There's a little bit more pressure now.
Yeah.
So that moves on to our next question. Obviously, you three ladies have all done things that inspire other women. So I guess the question goes out, who are women that have inspired you? So I might jump back to you, Sophie. Are there any women in the sport that have inspired you?
I wouldn't say I had one woman. I think every female in the sport really inspires me, like especially this time of the year when we're all wearing our team teal pants, and you're watching a race, whether you're at the races or on TV, and you see that half the field are wearing those colours, and it just shows how many of us are out there. And obviously you definitely look up to people like Kieran Manning and Kate Gass, and they do really well, but I think even Eva and Rory and all of us young ones coming up, like I really look up, all of us inspire me. I think just we're not taking over, but we're really getting the numbers out there, and you see more females than males, I think, these days.
And that's so fantastic to see. as Eva touched on earlier, how it's changed, and it's such a great way to put it that just everyone and the women as a whole is inspiring. And I guess we'll move to Rory. I'm going to guess that maybe Marg had a big impact on your life, but in your career, but who is the women that have inspired you?
Yeah, definitely Marg, because she's the one who sort of started my career. But I would have to say, same as Sophie, every woman out there who gets in and has a go, but definitely Kez, because she talks to everyone. She's always got the biggest smile. You could ask her any question and she would answer it the best she could. But also Jess Tubbs, she is amazing. She has brought up 500 training wins, and that's something that I would love to do, and be able to have a horse or lots of horses that she has. It would just be amazing.
They're both two women that I think are incredible that you have just touched on there, Karen Manning and Jess Tubbs. Both have made such great milestones in their careers and inspired people, and probably done things before men have done them. So that's just an incredible achievement for both Karen and Jess. So Eva, what about you? Which women have inspired you in your life and your career? I think you're on mute still, unless it's your
Can you hear me? Is it good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. I'm gonna sound like I'm on repeat, but obviously just any woman who's out there having a go, like, it's great. I love how, and I feel like recently so many more young drivers have been female coming through, and it's just so good to see, because it's all equal. Like, there's no difference in pay or anything. We're all just treated as equals, and you never really think about the fact that if you're a female or a male, you're all just competing against each other. But specifically, someone like we touched on earlier would probably be my nana, because I've never seen someone that have such a high work ethic even till 90 years old, which is just crazy. But yeah, probably just every single woman in the industry has a go.
Yeah, that is incredible. Do you know if your nan, like, what her career highlight would have been? If we're going back to your nan, how many races did she win or drive?
I'm not totally sure, but she had a few nice horses, like with her husband, that I think she won 40 races with, and just things like that. I think, yeah, she just sort of, everything was sort of a highlight for her.
And is that Nan, your dad John's mum?
Yep.
Yeah. If just for the people watching at home, John is currently driving Eva, so he is tuning into this edition of Burning Questions as well. He's our little guest star. Our next question is sponsored by Logical Staffing Solutions, who provide labour hire and recruitment services to the transport, warehousing, automotive and manufacturing industries, the logical solution for your staffing needs. So we're not talking about work in this question, actually. We're talking about outside of work and what your life looks like when you're not racing, which I know for some of us, it's there's a few days to probably a year where you can completely shut off from racing. But I might actually throw straight back to Eva for this one, because I want to know on Eva's very few days off what she gets up to.
So this year I'm starting back at uni, so I'll have uni 1 day a week on Wednesdays, and then I also have a part-time job which I try and work 1 to 2 shifts a week at, and I also enjoy going to the gym. So that's probably what my life outside of racing. Nothing exciting, but
No, they all sound very exciting, those elements. What are you studying?
In my 3rd year studying social work.
Fantastic. That's exciting, and it's great to see these other sides of you girls and what you get up to on your free time. And I know, Eva, you personally inspire me to go to gym a lot more, because I've noticed as well how often you've been going. Sophie, what does your life look like on your days off?
I've just started studying as well, and joined the gym, but I'm probably not keeping up with it as well as I should. But other than that, it's just hanging out at home, hanging out with my dog, Rocco, and yeah, trying to get everything else done that don't really have time to do.
What are you studying?
I've just started studying equine sports therapy. I've wanted to be a horse chiropractor since I was about 16, but you can't study it in New Zealand, so I've just started doing it now that I'm here. Make the most of it.
So if anyone is listening and in a few years' time they're going to be needing a horse chiropractor, Sophie will be the one to go to. Yes, yeah. And Rory, what about you? What does your life look like outside of racing? And I guess we could probably go back a bit earlier with this question, because what did you think before harness racing? Like, what was a day-to-day like for you and for now as well?
So I'm a horse rider. So when I'm not driving, I'm riding. So I spend most of my time with horses. But yeah, before harness racing, every afternoon I was riding my horse and at pony club and events. So now on my spare time after work, I'm riding my horses, getting them fit for the competitions. And then on the odd weekend that I have off, I like to go to the events and compete. And also I've got a part-time job as well and like to do a couple of nights a week. But most of the time I'm riding and feeding and doing all the stuff with the horses.
Yeah, and I think that if anyone's listening to this that aren't in racing, training a horse and driving a horse is more than just going to the races. And there's probably a few hours each morning and each night, and probably in the middle of the day where you have to be with your horse, even on the days when they're not racing or probably doing track work. So even just having one horse is almost a full-time job. So all of you girls work incredibly hard. And that moves us to our very last question, which is, what is your future goals? And we'll start with Eva, because I'm sure she just knocked over probably her biggest goal that she had. So now the world's her oyster. What is your future goals, Eva?
So yeah, what happened on the weekend was probably a goal I've never really thought about achieving this soon, but a short-term goal of mine is probably to try and drive 50 winners in this season. So that was something I've been thinking about for a while. And long-term, well, hopefully not too long-term, but a goal I'd like to achieve would be to just share a Group 1 with Dad, even if I don't drive it, just to be involved with it would be a big thrill, because we haven't really shared one yet.
I feel like the Cranbourne Cup was close to a feature race and you weren't there that night.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there. I was in the middle of the 21st speeches and I had to walk outside the room because I was screaming.
That was that's the Trotters Cup we're talking about with Mufasa Metro a few weeks back. And Rory, what are your future goals?
I'd love to just keep getting a few more winners, but I would also love to buy a Metro horse because I haven't driven in a Metro race yet. So hopefully to find a nice Metro horse and keep racing.
And you never know, there are people that are watching and you might end up just picking up a Metro drive every here and there. So if anyone is looking for a new Metro driver, Rory will soon be available. Have you got your qualification to drive Saturday nights yet?
Not yet, but I'm very close.
Very soon, guys, very soon. So we'll see Rory very soon at Melton on a Saturday. And Sophie, what is your future goals?
If I go short term, definitely just driving more winners. I'm still very new and early in the stages of probably my driving career. I would like to drive a winner for Kyle and his colours. That would probably be one. And long term, I just really want to smash out my studies and eventually have my own business doing the chiropractic work, provided it all goes well. So just keep working towards that, and that's always been a dream of mine and something I've wanted to do.
That is very amazing, all of your goals. And I feel like there's some people at home that are going to be watching and they're going to be thinking that we did not talk about this weekend's racing. So we might just I'm going to throw this one at you guys. You weren't prepared for this one. Leap to Fame. There's a lot of conversation on the internet about whether people think he can win the Miracle Mile now that he's drawn wide. I don't believe any horse has drawn his barrier, which may be 7, and still won the race. So just a vote of yes and no if you girls think that Leap to Fame can still win the Miracle Mile. So I'll start with you, Eva.
I haven't actually looked at the field, but going off his runs and everything, you can't knock him. He's in terrific form, so I definitely think he could still win it.
And you, Rory?
Yeah, definitely. He's an incredible horse, and from wherever he draws, I'm sure he'll get into a good position and win.
And you, Sophie?
Yeah, same as ever. I haven't really looked at the field, but I think he can do it. He's come from back in the field and worked hard in plenty of races and proved that he can kind of win from wherever he is.
Well, as a Queenslander, I'll be hoping that he deep down crosses first. And good luck to everyone going into the Miracle Mile this weekend. So that concludes our special edition of Burning Questions this week, where we celebrate International Women's Day. And happy International Women's Day to all the women that are tuning into this show. And thank you to Ewa, Sophie, and Rory for being our special guests today.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bronte.
Have a lovely night, everyone.